Hey guys, welcome to a new Nashville Masterclass. I am your host, James Ronaldo May. Please press like and subscribe if you please. Today, we're going to discuss what it's like getting hit with Narcan. Can it produce hallucinations? Well, it shouldn't, but sometimes it does. Now, when I was stationed in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, which is a lonely, desolate place out in the middle of nowhere, I had an old woman that would sell me morphine, Dilaudid, all sorts of stuff. She had a lot of problems, and she had taken too much of her morphine and had to go to the hospital. I remember her telling me that when she came to, she thought she was in hell. Now, I just chalked that up to, overdosing and ending up in the hospital. I didn't take it literally. Until many years later, I was getting prescribed methadone, as I'm wont to do. And I had a whole month's prescription. I got it from the VA, so I didn't have to go into the methadone clinic and drink it every single day. So I would take way too much, and I took 300 milligrams, 30 pills. And the last thing I remember was talking to my mom, and later I found out I just started speaking complete gibberish and just moving around. See, overdose is not always just you're knocked out, not breathing. You can overdose yourself into psychosis, which is what happened to me. I had no idea what was going on. I don't remember anything. They took me to the hospital, and apparently they hit me with Narcan, and all I remember is it was like ego death, right? I had no idea who I was, that I ever existed, didn't know anything. And all I saw, and this is the only time I've ever seen anything like this, was the only thing I can describe this as a demon. It looked more like a dragon. It was purple and gold, and it was laughing. I remember that. It was very much enjoying my suffering. And it kept grabbing me and shoving me down. And every time it shoved me down, it would shove me to another level of hell. And each time it shoved me through, its arms would morph into a number representing the level I was in. Now, I was in abject terror. This was the most terrified I've ever been in my life. And if you guys know anything about me, you know that's saying a lot. But this was the scariest I've ever been. I was screaming to the point where I really hurt my vocal cords. I couldn't speak for days afterwards. I cleared out the ER. People were running out of the ER. When I started coming back to reality, when you come back to reality, it's not like a snap. It's not like waking up from a dream. It is literally like if you've ever seen films where they use this effect where it looks like the screen is being dissolved and opening up to another scene. It was like that. It was like this monstrous scene I was seeing, and little bit by little bit it was being dissolved. And at the edges, I was peering into reality, and I was on the table. I was shackled to the table. All the nurses and all the doctors were white as ghosts. They were incredibly frightened. I was very combative. I don't know why I was completely naked, but they found a reason for that. And I remember the doctor asking me if I had taken any LSD. I was like, no, I haven't taken anything. I didn't take any hallucinogenics, but as the Narcan got stronger and the hallucinations wore off more, I was able to remember I took methadone. they didn't really believe me. I remember he gave me an injection of something, and I passed out, and I woke up a few days later in the psych ward at some other hospital. Now, this is what makes this so weird. There is nothing in Narcan that should make you hallucinate. Now, when you see people get hit with Narcan on TV, you just kind of see them come to. That's not it, even for them. Even if you're not hallucinating, when you get hit with Narcan, you go into immediate withdrawal. And it's way worse than just regular withdrawal because it's not gradual. You're just shoved right into it, and it is awful. But what caused this hallucination? I was so close to death. What did my brain start activating its response to death? Some people believe that DMT in our brain helps us with the dying process, but doctors have said that there's not enough DMT in our brain at any given time to really have any effect. Well, let's not be so sure about that. We don't know what happens at that moment. But something definitely was going on. I was very near death. There's nothing in Narcan to make you hallucinate. There's nothing in methadone to cause this kind of hallucination. It was one of the most vivid. It was just like smoking DMT. But what caused this? Why was I seeing this? It's certainly not something I've seen before. I've been hit with Narcan many times afterwards, and why every time is awful. Like, you think you can... I know people actually argue don't, give out Narcan for free because addicts will just think they can do whatever they want. No. Getting hit with Narcan is awful. It's not something you want to do. It's not something that, oh, he just went out hit with Narcan, he'll go... No, Narcan's horrible. I mean, not every time. I've been so high I've been hit with Narcan that I really didn't feel that bad. But, 99% of the time, it is one of the worst feelings you could ever possibly imagine. It's worse than any regular withdrawal. But it is something that is seared into my brain. Something I have never forgot. I have never forgot the way that thing looked. I've never forgot how its arms morphed. I have never forgot the terror I felt. And I'm still not sure what it was, where it came from, what caused a hallucination like this. It wasn't like a dream, because I was awake. My eyes were open while this was happening. There is really no good answer. No, I don't think it is, as far as Christian religion, devil or demon coming after me. If you do, that's fine. You don't have to go in the comments and talk about it. But, because I don't want an argument over this thing. But I'm very curious to know if there's other people that have witnessed this kind of thing, because I haven't found any. I have looked through Irowit too, and I found no stories or people get hit with Narcan and seen anything like this. If anybody watching this has seen anything like that or knows of somebody, please let me know. Or if you're a medical professional, a doctor who knows things like this, let me know. Because it's still a mystery to me. And any doctor asks, they don't have a good answer. Everybody's answer is always, oh, it could be. There is no one that knows. Yeah, it could be caused by a lot of factors, but it wasn't. Nothing this vivid, nothing this strong nothing would account for it. Not the Narcan, not the overdose, nothing. But I saw it, and it still sticks in my mind to this day. That's the kind of thing you don't ever forget. And people wonder, what kind of things haunt my mind, what you see on psychedelics and things like that. It could be that just my mind had seen so many nasty things on psychedelics. It just recreates these things when I start going into a panic. But then again, why was I panicking? I didn't panic until I saw this thing. Nothing about it really adds up. And to this day, I can't think of a good answer for it. No one I talk to can think of a good answer for it. And, you mess with drugs enough, these kind of weird things can happen. It irritates me to no end to see people who brag about how many drugs they've taken, how many psychedelics, and they're not going to have crap. It only takes one time, and again, people say, well, I've had bad trips, and I just no, I don't think you really had a bad trip. I think you've had uncomfortable trips. But a bad trip is a bad trip, and a bad trip is life-changing. If it didn't change your perspective on anything, it wasn't really a bad trip. It was just kind of an uncomfortable time. And these things can come back and haunt us in all sorts of different ways. And I think I'm going to talk about this on another video, how people like Dennis McKenna just talk about take this and take that, it's good for you. And don't account for what happens to people who don't take it the right way. He never said, unless you predisposition to mental illness, there are no warnings whatsoever. Just anybody take whatever you want at any time. There is a certain time and place for psychedelics. They do play a role in medicine, and they have all sorts of benefits when used correctly. But telling people to just go out and take whatever, just do it, is how you end up like me. And, thanks a lot for, all the cool stories and telling me to do this and that. I took your advice, and it didn't turn out so great. So let that be a warning that our past comes up to haunt us in weird ways. And that's it for Tales from the Vault number 2. I'm going to go back to sleep.